It's not my fault. We didn't have enough time, or people, or budget. My stakeholders just got in the way. My sponsor was out of control. My team let me down. It was just bad luck. These are rarely the real reasons why projects fail. So what are? Anyone who offers you a simplistic reason why projects fail is just doing you a disservice. At best, they're deluding themselves. At worst, they're selling you snake oil. There are many, many, many reasons why projects fail in the real world. So in this video, I want to talk about the key points of project failure, which will alert you to where you need to focus your attention. There are 10 of them, and under each one, I'll talk about a number of examples of where that point of failure can impact your project. The first point of project failure is in the project definition, right at the beginning. Firstly, how realistic is that definition? And secondly, is it precise and clear enough? And of course, have you properly aligned the definition of the project with the organisation's strategy, its goals, its sense of direction, and its mission and purpose? Second is planning. Once we've defined our project, we need to put together a plan, and plans can lead to failure. Common reasons for this are over-optimistic estimates, or a failure to properly understand the complexity of the situation in which you find yourself. Another source of planning failure is neglecting the risks in your planning process. And of course, a big source of planning failure is simply believing that your plan is right. My third point of project failure is stakeholder engagement, or sometimes a complete lack of stakeholder engagement. Under this, we find examples like an inattention to the proper process of stakeholder engagement, a failure to communicate well or appropriately, or using the kinds of media that are going to cut through the noise. And of course, the key to good communication is listening. Too often, stakeholder engagement is really just talking at people and not listening to their responses. One of my favourite videos is where I talk about a stakeholder listening plan. Thinking about stakeholder engagement leads me to my fourth point of project failure: politics. It's easy for project managers to say, we don't do politics, we just get the project done. But the reality is, of course, that all projects exist in a small p political environment, and some, particularly government projects, exist within a capital P political environment too. What this means is that individual agendas and group agendas can dominate your project. These can be both internal to the organisation and external to the organisation. Poor politics and not playing the game of politics well can also lead to low levels of support from the people in the organisation who need to support the project for it to succeed. This brings me nicely to my fifth point of project failure: governance. Or, once again, a lack of good, effective governance. Here, examples include poor governance structures, building governance structures which are not fit for purpose or don't have the buy-in from the people you need to commit to those structures to make them really work. Other examples include poor decision-making, which is linked to the structure. If you have the wrong structure, you won't get good decisions, but even with the right structure, you need good facilitation and someone to hold the line to ensure that decisions are made well. And of course, finally, poor sponsorship and poor leadership within the governance structure is a common source of project failure. As a project manager who is managing one or maybe hundreds of projects, keeping your data safe is a top priority. Losing even one document can set you back with missed deadlines and extra days of work. That's where FluentPro Backup comes in. It's a cloud-based solution that provides automated, continuous backup and recovery for project management and database systems. Want to learn more and try it for free? Just head over to the FluentPro Backup website. The link is in the description. My next point of project failure is resources. And by resources, I mean the people, the materials, the assets, the equipment, even the venues in which you do the project. Thinking about people, the human resources, which is probably the commonest source of resource project failure, we may have the wrong people with the wrong skills, or allocated poorly, or not given enough time, or those people might not be well motivated to give their best to the project. But of course, we may fail to source the other types of resources that we need. Materials may arrive late or meet the wrong specification. Likewise, equipment and other assets that we need. Project management itself can be a point of failure. And once again, there are many different ways that this can happen. The project manager themselves might not have the skills they need, or might not give the project the attention that it deserves. They may be inflexible or unable to speak truth to power. They may allow a number of project mistakes to happen, like poor risk management or scope creep. And of course, they may not put in place the structures and the systems and the processes they need to properly control the project. They may not pay enough attention to what's going on, or act quickly enough to control the project when deviations from plan occur. The thought of deviations from plan brings me to my next point of failure, which is testing and quality. We may simply fail to assess quality properly or test properly. Our tests may not be given enough time and enough resources, or they may be poorly defined. Indeed, quality standards themselves may not be properly defined. Too often, testing and quality are seen as somebody else's job, not my problem, by project managers and sponsors. And this can lead to them being poorly resourced, or worse still, inadequately resourced and pushed to the end of the project when there just isn't enough time to do it properly, or if the testing finds faults, there isn't enough time to remedy them properly. The result is bodges. My ninth point of project failure is in the implementation of the project itself. And a common one here is a failure to properly anticipate and deal with the soft changes that go with the, if you like, easy, hard parts of the project management process. It's very easy to focus on making stuff and getting stuff working. It's much harder to focus on the people you need to adopt these new processes, these new systems, these new products, and make them really work for the organization. The soft stuff really is the hard stuff. And of course, any experienced project or change manager knows that during implementation there will always be the possibility, indeed the probability, of a dip in performance. If we fail to anticipate this, then we may find ourselves creating problems for ourselves as we try to correct things that don't need correcting because that dip is natural. And as we come to the end of the implementation stage, a common problem which can lead to project failure is our team starts to evaporate. The excitement of making things happen is wearing off. Project team members sense the end is coming and they bail out looking for alternative projects to further their career. And suddenly you're left without some of the key personnel on which your project depends. And finally, at number 10, yes, there are some external factors which can cause project failure. These include lack of coordination with other activities, constraints on your project, and things upon which your projects are dependent. There may be a genuine change overload. Too much is happening in the organisation, and your project is just one change too many. And finally, shift happens. There may be some unexpected contingencies which you have to deal with, and if you can't deal with them properly, they can cause real problems to your project. This video is a summary of a short course which I've created So if you want to take this further, please do click the link in the description where you can find out more about this short course and purchase it at a discounted price. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great project management videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.